Okay, good luck to everybody. We're up to the Mishnah on Pei Vav Amid Beis. The Mishnah on Pei Vav Amid Beis. Okay, Kosav la neder ushvua ein li olayich. Now, a man writes to his wife, right, that I have no neder or shvua on you. In other words, if a woman would collect a ksuba, we're going to see that if she's pagayim with the ksuba, she has. It means she collect part of it. She has to make a shvua that she collect all of it. She has to make a shvua. Such a shvur, this pashtus in the Gemara, that's going to be one of the reasons, one of the shatim in the shvur. But what they did was the Gemara and Daf Lamed, I think it's Lamed Daled in Gittin, they made it into a neder. A shvur is much more severe than a neder. A shvur is a din in the person, a neder is an object. It's much more severe to be over on shvuas and nedarim. Women were subject, since they were taking care of the kids and everything. Even if they had taken from the kiddie, they were more subject to going ahead and being more heter to go ahead and make a shvua. So they turned it into a neder. Thus, we have over here two lashonos. The kasavla neder shvua ein li alayich. I don't have any neder shvua on you. En yachal ashpia. Then he can't make a swear. The Gemara will discuss exactly what shvua are we talking about over here. The Gemara will discuss what shvua we're talking about over here. Aval mashpiin hu es yersheha, but he could make what the children swear, the es haboye b'shusa, or someone who bought the rights to kasuba, he can make them swear. Because the lashon of the lashon that he had written to her was, I don't have anything on you, neder shvua. But if she dies and the children are coming to collect from him, or someone that she sold it is coming to collect from him, in that case they would swear. How about if he writes this lashon? Neder shvua ein li alayich al yar shayich v'al haboyim b'shus aseich ein yachal ashpia lohiv loyusha v'lo yaboyim b'shus. In other words, if the lashon is more elaborate and it's more inclusive, and that includes not only her but a yarshim or someone she had sold it to, then they would also be free of swearing. Abul yarshav, but his yarsham, meaning he wrote that. What happens if he dies and they're coming to collect ksuba from his son? Abul yarshav, his yarshim, mashbiin Isa, he could make her swear, that's yarshehu or yarshim, that's aboyim b'shusasa, or someone who comes in over shus. In other words, since he wrote it, the expansive lashon, but it was always going on him. If he would die, and now they're coming to collect from his sons the ksuba, in that case, they could make them swear. Nedu shvur ein li v'loy liyarshi v'loy laboyim b'shusi alayich ve'al yarshayich ve'al aboyim b'shusasayich. Ein yachal ashpia lo hu, not him, lo yarsha v'lo yaboyim b'shasai, lo yarsa v'lo yarsha v'lo yaboyim b'shasai. In other words, this lashon would go ahead and encompass everything. So again, depending on the lashon that you write, it can go ahead and be more prohibitive in terms of who you're excluding as you go on. The second part of the Mishnah, holcha mekever baila lebeis avia. Now let's connect this back to the previous Mishnah, which she had been appointed an apotropos. She had the power of attorney. She was in charge of the estate, right? And he dies, and now she goes from the kever. She's no longer the apotropos now because he's dead. So now she goes from his kever, lebeis avia, to her father's house. So she had nothing to do with the property during that time. Or she goes back to her house, so the house of her father-in-law where she had been living, but she wasn't restored to her previous position as the apotropos. The Yarshim can't make her swear that she didn't take anything from the estate. But in fact, if she was made an apotropos, then they would go ahead and make a swear on the future, they must be but not in the past. We're going to see what it means in the past, exactly what we're talking about. Okay, now the question is like this. We're not going to deal with the lashon of the Mishnah. The Gemara doesn't. The Gemara wants to know one thing: what shvua are we talking about over here? In other words, when a man got married, his wife talked him into writing the following script. You have no neder or shvua on me. I don't have to swear neder. I don't have to swear shvua. What could she have anticipated? What shvua was there possibly there that she could have anticipated that she want this written up to go ahead and take care of that? That's the Gemara's question. Further Gemara, shvua maya vidite. What shvua are we talking about? Says Rashi, Eze shvua stam sheisha chayeves lebaila. Which shvua would a woman be mechuyev to a husband, oli yarshav or his yarshim? Diktani the chiloi patra mishpia. When he doesn't pata, she has to swear. The chi patra like a mishnah. When he does pata her, then a mashpia. In other words, what is the shvua that we're discussing? So Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav says for Yehuda in the name of Rav Amar Aleph. Al apotropia shenasis b'chaye baila. We're speaking when she was made an apotropis in the lifetime of her husband. That's the previous Mishnah we saw at Erev Shabbos. That if she's made an apotropis, she has to swear that she didn't take anything from the estate. So anticipating that, Pashtas, why would she anticipate that? Gemara's going to ask that question. But that's the reason she had this written that what in case she becomes an apotropis, she won't have to make the shvua. That's Rav Yehuda. Rav Nachman Amar Rabba bar Avua. Rav Nachman says in the name of Rabba bar Avua, ala paigemis ksubasa. Right. So if she's paigeh in the ksuba, the halacha is if a woman takes a partial payment from a ksuba, she has to swear that she didn't take the rest. She has to swear. It's the next Mishnah. If a woman goes ahead and is paigim, literally blemishes. In other words, she took out of, what do they say, the retirement package. They took a little, you started taking it out of your pension, right? So she took a pension, she took a piece. So she has to swear that she didn't take. He claims she took the whole thing. She has to say, I don't. So in other words, those are the two possibilities. Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav, that she had been pointing out Petropis, and Rav Nachman in the name of Rabbi Avua, that what Pagemis B'Ksuba.
Is it might have been mixas?
Shtickle, hang in there. Also, Reb Mordechai, Amr l'Shmaitza Kamei the Rav Ashi. Comes Reb Mordechai, and he goes ahead and he comes and said the sugya for the Rav Ashi. Bishlema l'madiyama ala pagemis ksubasa. Bishlema again, guys. When was this shtar written? This shtar was written when they got married, right? This shtar was written when they got married. Now, Bishlema, according to Rav Nachman, that it's speaking about pagemis ksuba. The Maska Adaita, it entered her mind. Maybe she's going to need some cash. And she'll collect a little bit of the ksuba. So she tells her husband, listen, cosively, write to me, that you won't make me swear on the rest. In other words, that's something she could have anticipated, that she'd have to go ahead and take money from the ksuba. That's something she could have anticipated. So it makes sense that you make such ksuba, that she would have written this waiver, that she would make him write this waiver when they got married. Says the Gemara, Elamani Yama ala Petropia shenasis b'chaye baila lo Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav, that the shvu is an apotropis. Ihi mi havi yoda the moisav le apotropia the amalei kosavli le mishmadli. In other words, would have entered her mind that a husband would have made her an apotropis to go ahead and have the foreknowledge, right, to go ahead and write this. It's much more mistaba to say like Rav Nachman that it's pagemis b'ksuba rather than Rabbi Yehuda and Rav that's apotropis, because that's something that possibly could have entered her mind. It's not something she could have anticipated, correct? She couldn't have foresaw this. So therefore, the Gemara, it's a Galdiga Kasha. Says the Gemara now, we're going to switch gears and say Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav did not say his din of apotropis on the ratio of the Mishnah. He said it on the last case of the Mishnah when she buried her husband and she had been an apotropis. Good? So that's the Gemara. Says the Gemara beautifully. Amalei, so again, who was having this conversation? Rav Mordechai said in front of Rav Ashi, and Amalei Rav Ashi said to Rav Mordechai, Asain ahomas nisanla. You learned this dialogue of Rav Yehuda and Rav that it's speaking on apotropis. You learned it on the ratio. And therefore you had a question. How could she have anticipated being appointed apotropis? Anon ahomasnin Allah. I learned this statement of Yehuda on the sefer of the Mishnah, on the last part of the Mishnah. That's why I learned it. I learned it on the sefer of the Mishnah, the last part of the Mishnah. That's where I learned it. Right. Why does it say over there? Holcha mekever baila. She goes from the kever of her husband, lebeis avia, to her father's house. Oishechozu lebeis chamia. V'leinasis apotropis. And she wasn't made an apotropis then. However, in nasis apotropis, and if she's made an apotropis, yorshin mashpin, then the yorshin could go ahead and make her swear. If she made an apotropis, the Yoshim can make a swear. Allah asad lavoi on any future business dealings. And you don't make a swear on what? On anything in the past. Now, my avidite, now, how far past do we go, guys? How far past do we go? In other words, she's now an apotropis. They can make a swear in the future, but not in the past. Says the Gemara, how far is it considered the past that they can make a swear? And this is where Rav Yehuda begins to talk. This is where he commented on. And on this, Rav Yehuda Marav. Now we're interjecting the beginning of the Gemara. Rav Yehuda Marav, al apotropis shenasis b'chaye abal. On the she's to what? That she had been in the lifetime of the husband. Avol ben misa likfura, right? Mashbi'in law. In other words, we're going to go back at apotropis shenasis b'chaye baila. But after a husband died, between misa and likfura, anything from the death of the husband, that will make a swear on. That's what Yehuda is saying. And now it's not shver. It's not shver the question that you could have anticipated because she had been an apotropis. But Rav Masna Amar, afilu be misa likfura lemashbi'in law. You'd even go back to misa likfura. In other words, you don't go that far back. You won't make a swear. Why? The Amar Nadoi lekarga, to pay the head tax from the king. Or to feed the Yisoimim, ulekfura, and burying the husband, we will go ahead and we will sell without announcing. Now, if you want to go ahead and sell a property, what we do is we make an announcement and we wait 30 days. We want to maximize the price, guys. So the more, once we publicize it, and the more people out there, so therefore the better price you'll get. However, there's sometimes where things you need cash. Right, people are in a rush to sell the house, right? They'll take a cheaper price. So to get the head tax off you, or bezoinus, or more importantly, to pay for the kfura of your husband, not to have the body lie around, that will go ahead wide, and we will sell. So Rashi says we won't make a swear over there. What? Because you know what she's going to do? She'll go ahead and sell it cheaper. She has to sell it cheaper. Why? Because she wants to bury her husband. And therefore she may come to go ahead and swear incorrectly. So therefore says Rav Masna, right? Yehuda says we'll go back to Misa of the husband. On that he's saying no, we don't go back as far as the Misa of the husband. We'll go back to what to only the kfura, right? Only the kfura. And so now it's very geshmak. Rav Yehuda Marav said is din that the shua is apotropis. That's the shua that the Mishnah is speaking about. It's not speaking on, it's speaking on the last case of the kever, where you appointed apotropis, and the question is exactly when you go ahead and swear, you'll only make a swear in the future, you won't make a swear in the past. How far to the past? Well, according to one opinion, Misa, according to one opinion, the Kfura. Very geshmak. Continues the Gemara. Amar Rabba, Amar Avchia. Let's say you said the following lashon in the shtar: the loy neder, udloy shvua, hu eini yachal ashpia. He's not able to. Avol yorshim ashpia noisa. The yorshim could again. The dagish being on him, he won't be able to, but the yorshim would be able to. But the yorshim mashma, the yorshim would be able to. Now, what about he says the following: naki neder, naki shvua. Naki literally means clean. So Naki means there's two ways we can view it. The Gemara will take both directions. What does that mean? Bein hu, bein yarshim, ein mashbi'in isa. So hachi kamarlah, here's what he's saying. Minakis mishvuasa, you are cleansed from any shvua. In other words, I'm not only limiting it to myself, by using the lashon of naki neder, naki shvua, I'm saying you will never ever come to a shvua regardless who's here. You will never come to a need to make a neder regardless who's here. Naki, you're cleansed of this. That's one way to learn it. Rabbi Yosef Amar, Rabbi Yosef said, no. Amar Rabbi Chia. He said a different pshat. So you have two pshatim. Rabbi said in the name of Rabbi Chia one thing. Rabbi Yosef, the Bar Plukta to Rabbi, he heard from Rabbi Chia something else. They're arguing what Rabbi Chia said. The loy neder udloy shvua, hu en yachal ashpia, aval yashim ashpia. That's the same din. That's not the difference. Here's the difference. Naki neder, naki shvua. Then bein hu, bein yarshim, mashpia isa. If you say naki neder, naki shvua, she has to swear. Not that what she cleans her swear. She has to swear. Why? Hachi kamar. Here's what he's saying. Hachi kamar. Naki nafshei b'shvuasa. Make your nefesh clean. How? By swearing. In other words, there's two ways to learn, guys. You are naki from the shvua, or you're naki al yedei the shvua. Rabbi heard what from Reb Chia? Naki mishvuasa. You're naki from making a shvua. Reb Yosef heard from Reb Chia. No, you're naki. How are you naki? Al yedei shvua, through making a shvua. Totally opposite. Totally opposite. And even then, he personally can make a swear, not the Yarshim. He can make a swear. If that's the lashon he used, he can make a swear. Sholach Rav Zakkai l'Mar Ukva. Rav Zakkai sent the following message to Mar Ukva: Bein deloi shvua, whether you use the lashon deloi shvua, bein the naki shvua, bein deloi neder, ubein the naki neder, b'nichsei b'nechasai hu eini yachal ashpia. If he says my nechasim, then he can make a swear, but the Yoshim could, because it's not his anymore, right? It's not his nechasim. But let's say he said minichse Elon, he made it a din not in the person, he made it a din in the field itself. From these nechasim, bein hu bein yarshiv ein mashpiin isa. So we have the chiddush over here. Again, we're going through different lashonis. What would they include? So according to this opinion, the opinion of Rav Zakkai, who sent to Mar Ukva, it depends. If you said my field, then she's free from him, but not the Yarshim. If she said these fields, then you're free from anybody, because it's a din in the field itself. Amrav Nachman Amar Shmuel Mishum Abba Shol ben Ima Miriam. Very interesting. Lenny, here you go. She's in the Gemara. Ben Ima Miriam. It says that. Abba Shol says in the name of Ima Miriam. Ima is a lashon of chashivas. Ima is a lashon of chashivas. So this is Abba Shol. This is a Tana, guys. This is a Tana. So Shmuel is saying in the name of Abba Shol. When it says Mishum, it means he didn't hear it directly, guys. Anytime the Gemara says Mishum, it means it heard it. It was passed down to him. So according to this, if Shmuel is saying it, Bein deloi shvua, bein denaki shvua, bein deloi nadar, bein denaki nadar. Bein menichsai Elon. Bein hu ubein yarshum ein mashpiin isa. Right? In other words, I would say, forget about it. She doesn't have to swear. Right? Avama eseh shari amru chachamim haba liporim nichsei yisaimim layifra ela b'shvua. Bottom line, guys, is with all this Torah, you got to swear. If you're coming to collect from your assignment, you got to swear. If the guy dies and she's coming to collect a ksuba from the assignment, she has to swear, period. No matter what lashon was used. This is what Abba Shol said in the name of Ima Miriam. Now, the same thing is going to be reported, fellas, but not as Shmuel reporting it. It's a statement of the Tanoic statement. Look at the Ikadi Army law, the Ikadi Army law Masniton. It's not a statement of Shmuel, but it's an outright brisa. Abba Shol ben Ima Miriam Amar, the same thing. The only question is, did we hear it from the Amori Shmuel, or it was a direct Tanoic statement? So here it's the same halacha, guys, but it's just a direct Tanoic statement, not passed in the name, passed down to Shmuel. Abba Shol ben Ima Miriam Amar, bein deloi shvua, bein denaki mishvua, bein deloi nada, bein naki neder, bein menichsei, bein menichsai Elon, bein hu, bein yarshav, ein mashpiin isa. Avama esa shari amru chachamim abali par menichsei yisaimim lo yifra ela b'shmua. And Amrav Nachman Amar Shmuel halacha kiben Ima Miriam. The halacha is like Ima Miriam. The bottom line is you got to make a shvua. It's all a moot point. Whatever lashon you use. You come to collect from the assignment, you got to make a shvua. This woman's coming to collect a ksuba, she's got to make a shvua. About chayv comes to collect from the assignment, you got to make a shvua, period. That's it. Rabbi Rosenzweig, why do you look like you ate something bad? You look like...
No, I just want to point out that we're doing this Gemara Erev Kol Nidre.
What?
We're talking about Nedarim, Erev Kol Nidre.
Oh, you're busy with this. You're busy, yeah. Okay, very good. Okay. Now, we've discussed Paigemis Biksuba. Meya Asha mentioned Moida B'Knas. The Gemara is going to bring that in, May. I didn't blow you off. I told you. Okay. Says the Mishnah. 3 scenarios. Paigemis Ksubasa. Again, the woman took partial payment of the Ksuba. And the Gemara and the Mishnah is going to discuss the case in a second. She has to swear. Case number 2. Eid echad me'ida she'i perua. Eid echad goes ahead and says that it was paid up. Like tifra el b'shvua. She has to make a shvua that it wasn't. Minichse minichasim l'shubadim minichasim yisaimim. Change the shalei b'fana or shalei b'fanav. Like tifra el b'shvua. So three scenarios: either pagemis b'ksuba, eid echad, or mishubadim and yisaimim. Okay. Now the Mishnah goes back over all three cases. Hapagemis ksubasa. If a woman had again collected part of the ksuba, kesad, what's exactly the case that she has to swear? Ksubasa elav zuz. Ksuba was 1,000 zuz. The Amar law, and she says, "His kabalta ksuba sayich." He says to her, "You received your ksuba. I paid you." The Amar lo is kabalti elamana. I only got 100. I only got 1/10 of it. Like tifra el b'shua, she has to swear. Eidachad may eat the second case. Eidachad may eat a sheep perua. Ketzad. Ksubasa elav zuz. V'amar lo is kabalta ksuba sayich. The here I meris lo is kabalti. Eidachad may eat a sheep perua. Like tifra el b'shua. So again, the same scenario, just an Eidachad saying it. Third scenario, Menachasim Mishubadim Ketzad. Again, Menachasim Mishubadim is the property that has a lien on it. So now, the man's properties, guys, is Meshubah to pay off the Ksuba. So Macha Nechasav La'acherim, a man sells his property to another. V'hi Nefras Min Alakucha, she's not coming to collect from those people that he had sold it to. There was a lien on the property. Like Tifra Ela B'Shvua. Okay, next case, Menachasim Yisraimim, you come to collect Menachasim Yisraimim Ketzad. Meis v'niach nechasav, he dies, he leaves property, the assignment. V'nefras min the assignment, she wants to collect the ksuba from the assignment. Like tifra el b'shvua. Finally, ushlei b'fanav ketzad halach le medinas hayom who nifrash le b'fanav and nifras el b'shvua. Let's see the last Rashi on this page before we turn the page, guys. Last Rashi. Minchasim mishubadim mishum de'ihave gavi min aloiva. If you would come to collect from the borrower. The malva is the lender, the loiva is the borrower. You're coming to collect from the loiva, gufa, who toyin loiva, and the loiva would say to him, Ishtabali delay pratif. Go ahead and swear to me that I didn't pay you. You're coming with a shtar that says that he owes you $1,000. The loiva is entitled to say to him, swear to me that I didn't pay you. Swear to me. That's what you could say. Amrina b'shvuas, we said in Daf Mem Aleph in Shvuas, the mishma'ina late, he'll have to swear. V'loy tayin, however, if he doesn't make this claim, if the loiva doesn't say it, loy tanin late, we're not going to claim it for him. If the loiva says swear, fine. If he doesn't say anything, Bezdin will sit there and that's it. They'll shev al taisei, don't say anything. Good. However, continues Rashi. Hayil v'naket shtara. Since he's holding a shtar that says he's owed the money, we're not going to taina for him what? Pay up. But maybe you didn't pay. The fact that he's holding a shtar is mashma that you didn't pay. Again, had he said, I swear that I didn't pay, he'd have to swear. But if he doesn't say anything, since the malva is holding a document saying that he's owed the money, Bezdin won't say anything. However, avol, this is a big avol. Avol, bishvil lekuchos, before lekuchos, when you come to collect, the loiva sold this property. The loiva sold this property, and you're coming to collect from them. Ana taninon. We will claim for the ksubas, but for the lekuchos, dilme have gabas min loiva. Maybe if you would have collected from the loiva directly, havi toyin lecha ishtabali d'lei praticha. Swear to me, uboyes ishtabuye, and you have to swear. So hashtanon taninon the pasach picha le'ileimhu. So you hear this unbelievable svara, guys. If he's collected directly from the loiva, they wouldn't tie because he's holding a shtar. He's not collecting from the loiva. He's collecting from the property that the loiva sold to them. Therefore, had they collected, maybe the loiva would have tied that. So therefore, Bezdin will tie it for who? Bezdin will tie it for the lekuchos. For who adin Bezdin will tie it for the assignment? Who adin Bezdin will tie it shlei b'fanav. In other words, where since it exists, this taina of shvua, where the person themselves could not possibly know that. The lekeach can't make that taina, but the loiva could. The assignment can't make the taina. The father could. Whatever it is, right? We'll taina for them. Since that taina exists, where they can't possibly know to say that taina, we'll throw the shvu on them. That's the svara of the Mishnah. That's the svara of the Mishnah. Beautiful Rashi, important Rashi to know. U'minechse yisoimim v'nifrash le'befanav kulay mishumay taina. All the last dinim of the Mishnah is all because of that reasoning. Since that taina exists by the loiva, where the loiva is not involved anymore, where the husband's not involved anymore, because he's either shloi b'fanav or he's dead, then we will taina for the assignment, then we'll taina for him shloi b'fanav. Guys, good? Guys, you hear it? Guys, good. This is mamish important. It's a sight to know in this whole sugya of collecting and shvua. It's a very important idea to have. Okay. Amid Beis, Rav Shimon says something cryptically, which we're going to have to wait for the Gemara to explain. Rav Shimon Oimer calls man shehi tevas ksubasa. As long as she's bringing tavei the ksuba, hayoshim ashbin isa, then the yoshim can claim. Let's hold off on this. Look what Rashi says. The Gemara Mefarish Heikoi, the Gemara is saying what's going on. Rashi is always the barometer of telling you whether you should spend any time on this or not. Rashi is telling us do not spend any time. In other words, Rashi was saying, if you're learning Daf Yomi, this is perfect. Just move the chains. Just move the chains. Okay, now, Meir Asha had mentioned Shvua Moed B'Miktsas. This is a shtickle, right? When she's Pagas B'Ksuba, he's claiming, I owe you nothing. He's claiming, I paid you up. She's saying only partial payment. There are 3 Shvuas Deraisa. Guys, I go over this all the time. Baruch Ben Meir knows them. But he had 3 Shvuas Deraisa. Put this in your pipe and smoke it forever, guys. Midaraisa, there are only 3 Shvuas. 1, Shvua Moed B'Miktsas Ataina, where somebody says you owe me 100, he says they only owe you 50, right? Hoidas Baldin K'mei Edim Dami, he'll pay the 50. He's Mechuyev Shvua on the other 50. Shvua Sashoimrim. Someone entrusts you to watch something. You have to make a shvua that you weren't sholeach bayad, that you didn't go ahead and use it, because then you mechayev. Next, shvua what? Shvua's edis. As eid echad can mechayev you a shvua. 1 eid shows up and mechayev you shvua. Pashtus in our Mishnah, you have 2 possible shvuas deraisa. The first case where he claims I paid you the whole thing. She says you only pay me parsh. The case of Eid Echad, where an Eid Echad came and said you didn't pay it all. So the Gemara will go discuss both cases. Says the Gemara. Sava Romi Bar Chama l'neimar, Shvua deraisa. Why? The Katoyin Masayim, the Kamoy Delay B'meya. Right? He's, it's not Lav Daf Masayim, it's 1,000 zuz in the Mishnah, guys. 1,000 zuz, and she's saying Meya. Habilei Hoidob mixes a taina. The Chol HaMoed mixes a taina Yeshava. That's why she has to swear. So you're holding now, it's a Shvua deraisa. Rashi brings over here Shvua deraisa Rashi says, what would the difference between the Shvua deraisa the Rabbanon? Says Rashi, right, that we don't go ahead we don't go ahead and reverse the Shvua on them. The Shvua the Rabbanon will say, okay, you can't swear, so the other person does swear. That we don't. Okay, it's a little shver Rashi, but that's what Rashi says. Now, Amar Rava, Shtei Tshuvas B'Dava. Rami Bar Chama, I got 2 answers to you why it's only a Shvua derabanan. 2 answers to you why it's only Shvua derabanan. Chada, the Chala Nishbayin Shebetayra, Nishbayin V'lay Mishalmin. All of them swear, they swear and they don't pay. Guys, Moed B'Miktsas, you're claiming 100. Why do I pay? 50. Shoimrim, you're saying that what I owe you, you were Peshay, right? You didn't do it. No, I'm swearing I don't owe you anything. Eid Echad, Mechayev Yeshua, I don't owe you anything. Over here, she's swearing and she's taking. Therefore, it can't be a Shvua Deraisa. It can't be a Shvua Deraisa. Every Shvua Deraisa, I'm swearing to get off the hook. Here, the Shvua is to get on the hook. It's to go ahead and collect money. But he, Nishbas Menailis, and she's swearing and taking. But in addition, another reason why it can't be a Shvua Deraisa, Einish Boyin al Kfir Shibit Karkois. There's a Kalu Pratu Klal that says you can't swear on Karka. So this ksuba is meshubed. The karka is meshubed. You can't swear on karka. So 2 reasons why it's not a shvua deraisa. El Amar Rabba midrabanan. It's the rabbanan. Now, why throw the shvua at all? Then once me'asher, once it's not a shvua deraisa, so why is there a shvua at all? Right? You have to. So next step, the next logical step. Why is there a shvua at all? Okay, well, guys, when you pay somebody cash, when you count it out, do you know how much you're counting out? You sure do, right? When you get the money, do you always know how much you're getting? You don't always, right? You trust the guy, you don't, right? So Ella, Amarava Midrabanon, the Para Dayak, the one who pays the money, he's very medoyik, he's very careful what he gives. So he knows how much he gave you. The Mifra, but the one who gets paid, Loy Dayak. So what do we do? You're claiming you didn't get your whole, right? You only get party ksuba, you didn't get the whole ksuba. Guess what? The next time you'll check it out, make sure that that you got everything right. When you walk away from the ATM, be sure, right? Be sure you count your change. Don't walk away from the ATM and assume that the machine gave you what you thought you're getting. Iboilahu. Poigemes ksuvasa be'edim. He goes ahead and she says, I got my $100. Again, the claim is 1,000. Let's use dollars instead of zuz. He claims he paid her 1,000. She says, I received 100, and there were edim there that I received 100. Okay? Question. The fact that the other 900, there were no edim, does that support her? Or maybe not. Says the Gemara. Mahu. If he went ahead and he paid her, he would have gone ahead and paid the rest with Edim. So the fact that she's claiming she was paid with Edim would support that she wasn't paid up. Because if he paid the first part with Edim, then he should pay the whole thing. Maybe he went ahead and they just happened to be there. The first time around for the 100, they happened to be there. Okay, there's two ways to learn the Shaila, guys, right? Let's go through the Shaila one more time. He's claiming I paid you 1,000. She says you paid me 100. That's all. She's saying I have Edim that you went ahead and paid me 100. There's no Edim on the 900. Is that weaken his claim? Because, well, no. Do we say that the fact that we're Edim is not that he called the Edim there, they happened to be there. But Lav Dafka was he makbid, and then he maybe paid the whole thing. That's the tut stardom to the Shaila. Toshma, kol nishboyin shevet Torah, any shvur that in the Torah, nishboyin v'lo mishalmin, as we just said, you swear when you don't pay, whether it's a shvur yedachad, made a mitzvah shvur, a shoyim, you're off the hook. Ve'elu nishboyin v'noitlin, these are shvuras that you do swear and you take. Hasachir, that he, again, I'm going to go through, I don't want to spend a lot of time in this, because each one would take us time. But these were all people who have claims that they weren't paid. Asachir, a workman, Nigzal, a person that was stolen from, Vanechbal, a person that was damaged, somebody that the other person can't swear because we're scared that he would lie. I'll explain that case quickly. Chenvoni al Pinkasai is a person that you say, you have an account at Pomegranate. Say, listen, Yanko, Pomegranate, do me a favor. I got some workers, pay the workers. Now you come, the workers said they weren't paid. Yanko says he was paid. So each one swears to me that he swears he was paid. They swear he weren't paid, and basically I'm out. This is the Gemara at the beginning of Bab Mitzvah, right? One of them is lying, okay. But that's the case. And here's what we need. Right? He admits he collected half. Okay. He admits he collected half, you have to swear on the other half. This is our case, right? She admits she got part of the ksuba, right? So now she swears and she collects. Now, shaloi be'edim, it's masha shaloi be'edim in be'edim loy. It's dafka be'edim, shaloi be'edim, she has to swear. Mashma, if there were edim there, you don't have to swear, you collect without edim. So let's be paishat shayla. When do you swear? Only where there weren't edim. Mashma, there were edim, that would support her claim on the other 900, and she wouldn't have to swear and she could collect. Says the Gemara, no, there's another way to learn this Gemara. Loi mi boy Gemara, you don't need to tell me. Loi mi boy be'edim, the vadai tzricha shvua, right? The vadai you have the shvua. She can't deny anything, right? Guys, you have edim that you got only 100. She can't deny over here. By the pagay b'shtar, there's edim that he paid half, right? So over there, let me buy the edim devadei tzricha shvua. Aval shloi be'edim ein metavi k'mesh v'aveda. Without edim, you could say anything they say is gefun and legelt. You could have denied the whole thing. So let me buy be'edim where you can't deny it, that you have to swear. But even where there's a svara to say mesh v'aveda because there were no edim to go against you, you'd still have to swear. So therefore, it remains in a bayad l'yivshita. It remains a question that was not answered. A next question: Iboilahu hapoigemes ksubasa Pachas mishava pruta. She took $100 from a ksuba, but guess what? She took it breklich. One day she took 50, the other day she took 20, another day she took 10, another day she took less than a shava pruta, and she's keeping a ledger of this. So this woman obviously is meticulous. She probably was an actuary in a previous life. She is mamish, really meticulous. Is that a svara to support her to say she didn't get the other 900? That's the shaila. So yiboilahu. Hapagemes ksubasa pachas mishava pruta mahu. Me, I mean, keeping the kadaika kule high since she's some meduyik pushed the karma when she says she's owed 900. Maybe she's just a trickster. In other words, she's saying, "Look, I'm so makbid over here. It must be I'm telling you the truth, but the 900." The Gemara says, "Teiku remains the question." Another shaila. She makes her ksuba less. She makes a ksuba less. He claims he paid her the full 1,000. She says she got nothing, but the ksuba was only 100, not 1,000. So she's peicheses. She's diminishing the amount of the ksuba, guys. Again, that would support her that she's telling the truth, correct? So iboilu peicheses ksuba samahu. Mi amin and hainu peigemes. It's the same thing. Idilma peigemes modia b'mikzas. By peigemes, she's moida b'mikzas and part of it. Holoi kam moida b'mikzas. Over here, she's not moida in anything. In other words, she's saying, I didn't get paid anything. The case of Pagamis Suba is he's saying I paid up to 1,000. She says I only got paid 100. So the case of Peicheses Suba is he claims he paid it up. She says you paid me nothing. However, that you say you paid me the full 1,000 is not correct. It's only 100. So it's not moida b'mikzas over here. You hear the difference? By Pagamis, you're being moida to 100. By Peicheses, you're diminishing the amount, but you're not admitting to anything. You're not admitting you own anything.
But that's like saying she was paid that's like saying she was paid 900 in the example you gave. If she's pecheses, it's like saying it would be the equivalent. It would be like an equivalency. It's like,
I don't understand. She's claiming I wasn't owed anything. She says I didn't pay anything.
Right.
All she's doing, in other words, is this comparable or not? So it's comparable in the numbers, Harold, but it's not comparable in the actual claim, because the claim by the Pagemes is a claim of Moida b'Mitzas. The claim over here is no, she's being kaif b'kol. You didn't pay me anything. Different claim. Tashma, Pageses tifra shaloi b'shvua. At Pageses, she gets paid shaloi b'shvua, guys, without a shvua. Ketzad, Kesuvos elev zuz, v'amalo hiskabalta ksubasayich. He says you receive your ksuba. V'yomeres lo hiskabalti ve'ena elamana. It's only a mana. Nifra shalei shvua. Okay, they're collecting without a shvua. Read the Gemara. My gavya, the high shtara chas v'amu. Guys, if you have a shtar in for 1,000 and the amount was only 100, what koyach do you have to collect? The shtar. The shtar is a piece of cheres. It's a counterfeit document. It's not a true document. Says the Gemara has to have it. In other words, I hear you saying you collect with a shvua. Why are you collecting it all? Where is your raya? Where again? It's not a real document. So Amarava Braid Rava by Meres Amana Hoisla Beini Levena. There was a deal I made with my husband. The following, she wanted to impress her family, so he told her husband, listen, write me a document for 1,000. But really, you don't only have to give me 100. Why would you do that? It's because you want to say, look, my husband, I'm so valuable, he's willing to write me 1,000. So if you have a shtar amana that wants to go ahead and put her, that there was a belief between the two, then it would be a good shtar. Then it would be a good shtar. And therefore, she can collect 100. And you collect with Shaila.
Don't we have an umdana that the ksuba had to be at least 200 if she's a psula and 100 if she's an almana?
Maybe she's almana. She
Doesn't
said
say so, but she should be entitled to 100.
It could be. This is a Tosefes. Elav Zuz it could be a Tosefes ksuba. It could be Tosefes. Could be.
But the 100 she should get without a shvua, because that for sure.
No. That's it's not true. You have to swear. You have to. That's no given that you collected it. You're telling me what usually goes into it, but this is whether he's saying he paid it up. This is a koyach hataina. You paid it up, whatever it is, you paid it up. You don't automatically get it just because it's 200, 100. You don't automatically get it. That's how much you usually give. However, the claim over here is I paid you up the whole thing. It's a koyach hataina avi. It has nothing to do with what the amount. We're using these numbers arbitrarily. Now, says the final. Now, the next thing of the Mishnah was Eid Echad says he paid you up. She has to swear that she wasn't. Now, this is the second possible shvur deraisa. The first one was more than mixas. Savar Rami bar Chama l'meimar shvur deraisa d'chsiv lo yakom Eid Echad beish l'chol avoin l'chol chatas. Right, a person can rise up against another person for any avera l'chol avoin l'chol chatas. Who deina come? One person. Avol kamu l'shvua. Good. So you want to say it's shvur deraisa. So Rava gives the same answer. Amar Rava, shtei shuvas bedava. Chada dechol nishboyin shebetoira nishboyin v'lei mishalmin. Any shvur in the Torah you swear and you don't pay. V'hi nishbas v'nei teles, and she swears and she takes. So therefore, it's not doing to a shvur deraisa because she's taking rather than getting off the hook. V'yoyid ein nishboyin al kfir shibik hakois. Now, l'chayra, if you learn the Gemara Pashit, Rami bar Chama did not learn his lesson because Rav is giving the same teretz, right? So the Ritva says both questions were asked at the same time. Rami, in other words, Rami presented both these cases of shvur deraisa, the case of Moed Mixas and the case of shvur Eid Echad, and the Gemara just broke it up in the format of explaining this part of the Mishnah and the second part of the Mishnah. But both, to explain Rami, they were asked at the same time and given the same teretz. And the Gemara broke it up and just applied it at the words of the Gemara to explain that segment of the Mishnah. Okay. El Omar Rabba, so what's the reason for this shvua? You have an Eid Echad, we want to go ahead and we want to appease the husband. She makes a shvua. Again, this Eid Echad is saying you got paid up. She's appeasing the husband with the shvur. I don't know how it's going to appease him, but so the reason why we make the shvur by Moedim and Mixas, that case is that she should go ahead and count her cash before she leaves. And the reason by Eid Echad is to appease the husband. Like, let's just do the last segment. It's a little difficult tomorrow. Let's just do the next segment. It seems to be a workaround over here where you could turn into a shvur deraisa. Amrav Papa says our Papa, if this husband's a bikeach, he can bring a parsley to a shvur deraisa. It's possible to bring her to a what? A shvur deraisa. How's that possible? Yoav le ksubasa, let her now pay off the ksuba, ba'ape chad sada, in front of one aid. In other words, he claims he paid off the ksuba, correct? Now, take one aid, pay off the ksuba in front of that aid a second time. The samich sada kama, you'll go ahead and combine the first Eid Echad, asada basra with the second Eid Echad, umukim lulahanich kamoy b'milva, and you'll say the first money was a milva. The second one is paying off the ksuba. The first money that I paid her was for a halva, and now he demands repayment, right? And she has to swear that she doesn't know anything on the halva. She has to swear she doesn't know anything. So l'chayra, he's demanding repayment now for what? For the previous money. He demands repayment. And now the shvua is stopping her from repaying. Right? I guess he's I think the money he's giving her now, I'm sure over here, which money is demanding repayment, the first one or the second?
I don't hear the case.
L'chor, it should be the first one because the first one was he says a halva. The second one was the ksuba. First one was a halva.
Yeah, it's going on the first one. It's going the first one because there's no shibud karkois whatsoever, and it's halva. Okay, so l'chayre, that's what he's saying. This guy has a workaround. We can make it into shvur deraisa, mode of a mixas. That what? Okay, says Maskal Rav Shisha Brei Rav Idi. Heyich somich sada kama sada basa. How can you combine the two? They're two separate incidents. How can you combine the two? El Amr Rav Shisha Brei Rav Idi. Yovlok subasa ba'ape sada kama v'sada basra. Okay, in other words, the first eitzah was give it in front of a second one separately. Now, get the first one and the second one and pay the ksuba. So now they're together on that. So it's the same case, except when you gave over the money for the ksuba, you have both there, not just one. Maskar Ravashi, Akati Yecholol Lemema base ksubas. Hi, they're both ksubas. So Elam Ravashi, who demoidalahu. He informed them beforehand that what he's about to do. So he can't possibly claim that it is two ksubas. He's telling them beforehand that I'm giving you this money. You should realize I'm giving you the money that to tell you that this is only ksuba. I didn't pay ksuba twice. This is the only payment to ksuba, and the first claim is going to be a claim of a halva, and then she's going to have to pay a claim against me, which is a moed of mitzas, and therefore she'd have to swear. Okay. Tomorrow morning, Bez Hashem, will be tomorrow morning. I'll let you know exactly.